So, I've been thinking a lot about change lately because um in Brazil we have having trouble with people protesting against the quarantine and lockdown measures of the government. And I saw that also happen on the United States, and I was like, oh my god, don't these people understand the what they are living? Because there's I don't understand why some people are so resistant to change, because we live in a dynamic environment, and if you don't change too, you get left behind. And this is what happened with this type of people, and I get like, oh my god, like, first of all, I would like to talk about changes. Changes in general are scary because at least the common citizen seems to think that change has to be drastic and has to be the complete opposite of the way we're living, but in real life that's not how it works. A change can be something small. You don't need to make a huge leap. You just need to try to take new measures. And that's what I guess really um, brings trouble between minorities and majorities, because it seems like minorities are asking for a complete different lifestyle, like a huge change, when actually the changes we do in society are by a small changes. Because I think if someone wants some change, it's because change is needed. If change wasn't needed, nobody needed to talk about it. So I think that even if you're a fascist dictator, you should accept that to make yourself uh, be up on power for long, you must accept some changes from society. We as people need to do that, and I think that today, those people there are not trying. Are not trying to change. They are going to be swept by history, because we simply cannot be without change. So let's take an example of LGBTQ issues. I'm transgender myself, so I guess that's my comfort zone. But can you imagine, like, straight people, transphobic people, homophobic people of all sorts? Those people, they don't want to change, but they think that when we talk about it, when we listen to them, it's like, oh, what if uh, people started getting married to horses and our children saw that? I'm like, oh, that's not it at all, because they have such an absurd way of thinking, like most fanatic people are in politics, in religion, whatever it is. I think those people have a tendency to exaggerate to the complete opposite of what they think. They change. It's like an abyss you gotta jump into. You don't know anything about it. You were not safe with it. It's absurd. It's suicidal. And when in reality changes happen every day, and I think there's those types of changes that make history as it is, that really move society forward. Like um, when I came out as a bisexual person in 2007, being gay or lesbian was a thing. It was like you got spanked, you got murdered, you couldn't get any job. But now gay men are doing way better than they did in times before. So that happened not only because of parades, of course they are the base for all of this, but in daily life, people starting come out as a homosexual, and then people saw that they also had the same feelings other people do. Like, I need a job, I'm working a shitty job just like you because I have to pay my rent, and my mom accept me and I support her, and I have to get money to buy my mom's meds. And everybody saw that those men were capable as the straights. He also had a family, feelings, etc. Of course, it's not that great today too, but that's an acceptance that is more defined than it was when I came out 13 years ago. And I guess we are still in that bad part with transgender people. I think it will take a lot more time for us to be accepted, and I think that won't happen fully like the gay guys. They still have to deal with not a full acceptance, like people make jokes and etc. But those changes are the changes that actually make society move forward. Because now we are more used to seeing gay people on shows, on TV and music, and adopting children and starting families, etc. So that moved our issues to a better place. It was daily life, and I think that will happen also to transgender people. Like, we will start people seeing us working at all sorts of places, and they will see that we are just like them, and we'll stop even for a little bit this barrage of aggression towards us. But yes, and that's what I was talking about change, because those changes are small. They're like turtle's pace, turtle pace, and I guess in 50 years we will be better. I know it's like 2 generations, but it's time. History is slow. I mean, geologic time is really slow, but comparing to society's time, antro time, it's pretty speedy, the how a society moves, but not as human beings, not as we don't change much quickly what we feel about ourselves, like our human relationships. We just leave that aside, and we'll get like technologically more diverse and advanced. But social issues, they are the same of 200 years ago, and that's pretty slow for me, even compared to Earth's life. I mean, if you consider our society, I think we are very slow on social issues. Money, it's the issue we can deal with. We can deal with the power of changing stuff. We can deal with power. We can deal, I guess, we were too smart, but too naive, too smart to make technology, but too naive in social issues with our feelings, that we just went forward with technology while our lizard brains are the same that, I don't know, the first Homo sapiens. Yeah, so these people have, they don't like change. That's a given, that's what we do. So these people don't like change because they think change is a huge thing, like it has to be, but it doesn't need to be. Like, I guess, of all of the shit that happened, we had like in Brazil, I guess it was 2000, the year 2000, we had energy, we had to save energy, or we would be without energy at a certain time of the day. So nowadays, I was 8 years old when that happened, and I still have the same habits right now of just leaving all possible lamps off. When I'm alone, my house is all dark because I don't like it. I don't like turning on the lights. And that thing, 19 years later, I'm here, and I'm 20, and now 20 years later, I have the same habits I did because of the time. And I think that people will come out of this changing some things, like washing up all their groceries and washing hands constantly, and hand sanitizer. I guess that will be part of our lives. Some people will be more conscious about cleanliness, and I think that's a change that will get here too, and nobody can fight against it because we were affected by this virus. Our lives changed, and I think we will take that as habits for the rest of our lives. And you can say that it ended like was H1N1. It happened 10 years ago, I guess, or 11. I guess it's 11. And it really didn't hit us like Corona did. So we sort of forgot about that, you know. They talked, please don't go to malls, don't go to the theater, and but we never did that, and nothing happened. It was solved, okay. But now we are stuck into our homes, and when we are stuck into our homes, I guess that made society rethink everything. These people who protest a lot, who want to get back into the streets, are people that live in a world that has died already. We are now, everybody's in a collective feeling of mourning because most, I guess most people don't know what they're mourning, what died, but it's what society as we knew it died when quarantine really hit in all countries, because everything will have to be seen. I guess post coronavirus, I would think a lot because some words I only know in Portuguese and I'll have to make up for it in English. So now we see how essential workers need to get more money for their work, because their work for now can be swept by machines. You can put machines for self-checkouts, at least not in here in the third country. So they see these people are needed, and these people, they mean something. And I think some of these people won't take it when the epidemic is over. I don't think these people will accept their low incomes because they are the ones that never have stopped working. They were essential to all. If they stopped, society would stop. So, and I think they will be more conscious of their rights, the workers. And these in all fronts, I guess, when people see that society really needs them to work, to risk their life, for it to continue being on a measure of okay, I think you will see things differently. I think some people will be more political conscious of their workers' rights. I think that we might have some really serious conflicts between the working class and the entrepreneur. I don't know how to speak that word, like a guy who has a store, the owner, you know, like the landlord of all shit. And I think now companies will see how they can manage to not have all their workers inside. So we will have more people working at home, but I think that it will be bad because they won't be subjected to the workers' laws. It will be a neoliberalistic race of sorts to see who can pay the less and still have a worker. So I think the conditions of these workers will be worse, and that might lead to conflicts too, like on the first line workers, the essential ones. And companies will do whatever they want. They will really strip all those rights from the workers, and it will be a huge problem for us all because they will want to pay the minimum they can, and then the government will be very hesitant in intervening in the situation. It will have to, and it will lead to more political debate because right-wing people will say no, we can do that, and left people will be cheering with joy. because of government intervention, and in the end we'll have so type of innovation in the States, and people will still not be satisfied because they are not satisfied. Because you can just mess with workers' rights here in Brazil. I guess it's one of the few things we still have feelings about. So I think that would be that. And these changes will lead to conflict, a lot of conflict. Our governors and mayors will have to deal with if we are still with this president, I guess they will have to dance a lot to function, to comply with the president and not listen to him because he's suicidal and homicidal. So it will be a hard time for all. And man, the dollar really went up. Yeah, that was bad. So it is very weird. And a supermarket, they just froze the prices, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in the 80s in Brazil. I can't believe you've frozen the prices for 2 months, man. I know dollar is really rising and everything, but dude, I felt weird, like weird. You have private companies taking economic measures like Brazil did 40 years ago, and that's fucking weird for me. It's like I'm living in another reality. Like everything seems like another reality. When like a girl measured my temperature when I went to the supermarket, I'm like, oh thanks, now I know I'm good. Actually, I'm cold. I'm 35. So that's weird. So I was like, oh my god, if this happened every day, we wouldn't have like 80% of the diseases we have now. If always people say, no, we have to have a reasonable number of people inside. We'll take them their temperature, and we will wash their hands. Like, oh my god, that's amazing. If that happened before, we wouldn't have had this problem, I guess. Because it's also needs, it's another world. Sometimes I feel like I'm living on a first world country. Because all of a sudden, you have people giving you sanitary supplies. And I thought, oh my god, these people, they should do this all the time. That's horrible. We had to come to this point and to do stuff, alright? So it's pretty weird. I think our future will have a certain amount of conflicts. I think everything will change. How we relate to others, how we relate to our own self-care, and how we will put value into just going outside and going wherever you want to go, And I think maybe for a flip side, some people will start thinking more about themselves in a way, more about themselves in a psychological way, because they have to be alone, and being alone is not easy. So I think that some people will go to therapy, some people will improve themselves, some people just freak out. But I think this is something that can come out of this, and changes don't really need to be that big. Changes can be small. But when you feel a need of change, it's because you really need a change, because perfect situations never leave doubt to you. But if you have a doubt, you need to change. It can be a small thing. You can just start walking 20 times a day. Or you can just start learning a new language, reading the dictionary just to find out new words to write about and mock your trends. You can start doing makeup, cutting your hair, etc. I guess we all need little changes from time to time, because situation is really dynamic and changes a lot, and it's really heavy for some of us. But I think we keep our minds in track that we can change slowly, with small things, I think it's for the best. So I hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe if you really liked it, and I will see you guys again. Thank you.